Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble and prep a grease gun. The purpose of this video is, while it's a fairly simple tool to set up and operate, because you're working with grease, if you get stuck in certain points it can get messy. So hopefully with this video it should be a lot more simpler. So our grease gun came from Halfords. It's a 400cc or cubic centimeter model, and it's designed to actually take the cartridges. There are smaller ones you can get, but you have to scoop up your grease and put it inside the canister. So I think that these ones, the ones that take these little canisters here, are much better. So I would spend a little extra money and get these models. It's much cleaner. So once you get your grease gun out of the box, you'll see that it comes in three parts. There's the nozzle, there's also the head, that's the part where the handle is, and then you've also got the cylinder, that's obviously your canister holder. So the first thing we can do is screw the nozzle into the grease gun head. With this model you can just screw it in by hand, no tools are required. Once you have the nozzle screwed into place, we now have to separate the canister holder from the head. On this model, all you have to do is screw it counterclockwise or anti-clockwise, and that should separate the two parts. The next step is to take the canister holder and pull this spring-loaded rod all the way back so it locks into position. Each model is different. Some have a little button like this one on the side where you press it and it releases it. Some have a little cut at the back of it. When you pull the rod, you turn it 90 degrees and that locks into position. Whatever way, just pull it all the way back and now you can get your canister of grease in it. Now we can put our canister of grease in our grease gun. This canister has two ends that open up. The red cap just peels off and is completely flush, whereas the white end, that peels open like a soda can. It has a wee lip on it, so it prevents you from putting it in the wrong way. So this red cap, we're going to put that in first. That's going to slide in. You can only put it in one way. There's no way you can put it in the wrong way, because obviously that wee lip on the white side prevents it from going in. Once the canister is in place, you can now use the little tag and peel off the other end. So as you just saw in the video, even these canisters can have the little faults. The little plastic tag came off on one side, preventing me from taking it off. But don't worry, just get a little thin plain screwdriver and you can just lever it open and that solves the problem. So once you do that, you can now put your canister of grease back into the canister holder. Once you've got your canister of grease back in place in the canister holder, you can peel off the other tab and then take the head of your grease gun and screw it into your canister holder. Once we have everything assembled, our next step is to remove any excess air that's in the grease gun. To do that, there's either an air valve button on the end of the head, or if it doesn't have that, you can give it a wee quarter turn to loosen it. I've did it both on this one. Once you've done that, just press the little release button or just turn it 90 degrees to release the spring-loaded rod and then push it back into place. It might need a little effort, but if you just push it in to it's basically where it was when you first got it, and that should get all the air out of it. Once the spring-loaded rod is pushed firmly back, you can now turn the cylinder head to close it, release the air valve, and then give it maybe half a dozen to a dozen pumps on the handle, and you should have grease coming out of the nozzle end. So now that we've got our grease gun all prepped up and ready to use, let's test it on this box trailer that I recently purchased. When I was towing it home, I could hear a little knocking noise, and when I was reversing it up the driveway, one of my neighbours was telling me the knocking noise was coming from this towing coupling right here. So odds are the previous owners never bothered greasing the two nipples that are on the top here. So let's grease these nipples right now. The first thing you should do is get a wee rag and some maintenance spray and clean the nipples just to make sure there's no dirt on the nozzles. Then obviously insert your grease gun into the nipple. Because it's a brand new grease gun, it might be a little tough because it's a brand new part, it hasn't worn in yet, but just force it on. And because this is a trailer that looks like these nipples haven't been greased in a while, I'm going to give them 20 pumps of the grease gun each side. I'll give 10 pumps on one side, then I'll swap over to the other nipple, give that another 10 pumps, and then I'll go back to the nipples and just give them another 10 pumps. You can't really overdo it with grease on something like this, a towing hitch. And once again, because it's a brand new grease pump, it might be a little bit hard to pull the grease gun off the nipple, but that's just because it's a brand new grease gun. So once you finish pumping, when you're trying to remove it from the nipple, just give it a wee pull and it will come off. Now that we've greased it, let's try the towing coupling once again, and it has made a big difference. There's a wee knock, but that's actually coming from another part of the trailer off screen. So yes, did make a huge difference, but I'm going to just put another 10 pumps of grease in the nipples on each side. Like I said, you can't really go too much. And once you've done greasing it, just get an old rag and wipe up all the excess grease off those low nipples so no dirt can get stuck to them. So that's how you set up, prep and use a grease gun. One thing I should point out is this is an old flexi hose from an old grease gun that I used to have that broke a long time ago, and it actually fits onto this grease gun. But that's one thing you should remember when you're buying a grease gun. What do you intend to use it for? If you're using it for things like a towing hitch, or like I did on the video, the solid nozzle will be fine. But if you're doing things like differential bearings underneath a car, then maybe make sure when you're buying a grease gun, if it's got a flexi hose, that'll be able to get into other areas that the solid nozzle couldn't. But this one, it just screws in. It's the same thread, you can just screw it in. You just need a 13mm spanner to tighten this one up, whereas with the solid nozzle you could just use your hand. So I hope that video was helpful to you. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and goodbye.